Hello, if you're a Christian parent like me, I'm sure you're very concerned about raising your children successfully in primarily a godless culture that we live in. I'd like to show you a short video clip by Brett Kunkle that I think you'll enjoy. It's just a short clip out of a longer message where he basically makes an application of teaching his children to surf and then gives an illustration of how as parents we need to be equipping and teaching our children to surf the waves of our culture and be effective ambassadors for Christ. But I hope you enjoy this short video.
When people ask me, Brett, why do you do what you do? Why'd you write A Practical Guide to Culture? Why do you take students to Berkeley? Why do you work with young people? I tell them I've got 5 reasons. Alexis, Micah, Paige, Jonah, and Ella. Those are my 5 kids. Those are the 5 kids that I've been entrusted with, right? To disciple, primarily to disciple, and to raise up, to send back out as ambassadors for Christ. And as I thought about training up kids, as I've been in the apologetics world and the worldview space, and I've thought about how we do this, particularly as the culture keeps pressing in, there's a really helpful analogy that helps me to understand kind of our role at different levels of development with our kids. Right? In fact, so I grew up in Southern California. I've been surfing pretty much all my life. I love to surf. And when I got married, I dreamed that one day, my kids would be able to paddle out on their own surfboards and paddle out next to me and catch their own waves without any help from Dad. That they would be able to navigate the waves of the ocean and the currents, all of that on their own. Right? And we'd be able to surf together. But how did I get to that point? Because now my 16-year-old son, he paddles out next to me. I don't have to worry about him. He's catching more waves than I. Well, no, he's not doing that yet. Dad still can outsurf him. But how did I get him to that point? Did I put we would get our kids in the water at 1 year in the ocean, 1-year-old, 2-year-old. What did I do? Put them on a surfboard at 1-year-old and push them out and say, all right, go for it. No, there was a process of protection first, right? There's appropriate protection from the oceans, from the current, from the waves. And in the same way, I think with our young people, given our current culture, we have got to give some adequate protection. And I think given the culture that's pressing in, maybe even more protection than we have in the past. Now, this protection is isolation by long-term goal. No. Right? The long-term goal is training so that I can send them back out to the waves. In the same way, we in that protection then train and teach. Just like I'm teaching my kids about the rip currents in the ocean, what's going underneath the water, what's going on top of the water, different kinds of waves, different kinds of bottoms in the ocean. The same thing, we are educating ultimately so that kids can surf with us. They can surf the culture and be effective ambassadors for Christ. So that's why John and I wrote this book. And we hope that it is a great resource for parents and families in this.